The Zoom could still do it.
Okay, I can still hear me. Thank you.
Now they're both connected.
So, okay. Okay, so this is the day that's changing over the Kohini Gedolah from this, and Aaron is worried that he's not Roy Lekach, because the Ben Yishim was angry at him because he made the ego. And the truth was the Ben Yishim was angry at him. Yeah. But the shaila is, so it says that when Aaron, when Moshe called Aaron, he told him, Kach l'cha egel ben bokel. So Rashi says that even though that he told him an egel, why an egel, not a par, because an egel is a younger part. It's a veal. Obviously it's young. It's a different kind of meat in the ma'isa, but it's a different chshivas. Even if it says the shor yomechad, it's considered a shor. But the ma'isa, there's still a different terminology of egel. But he used the terminology egel instead of a par, which normally means should be about 3 years old. Is the idea is that he's mechaper for the egel. So that's so Aaron knew he was mechuper for the egel. Afal became that he knew he was mechuper for the egel. He was still afraid that the punishment that he's disqualified because he made the egel, that will be Metzias, he'll be disqualified. It has nothing to do with what. And that you can learn the pshat that it's not necessarily an inyan of an oynish. You have the machlekes by Moshe Rabbeinu himself in the beginning of Shmois, where when he said Shlach b'yad tishloch, to ben shvayicher Raf Hashem b'Moshe. So the Gemara is whenever it says vayicher, it's supposed to be something happened because of it, and you don't find that anything happened because of it. And the other said that what do you mean? Moshe Rabbeinu lost the Kohini Gedolah. He was supposed to be the Kohen Gadol, and now it's going to be Aaron's going to be the Kohen Gadol. So it's a grace of kashas. How come the other guy holds that nothing happened? The pshat is, that's not called something happening. If you're not the right guy, it doesn't make you a psul. In other words, if the guy's looking for a guy for a certain name, and you're not that name, so you can say it's a chsoni, or it's not a chsoni, you're not that guy. So the pshat is, the Ben Yishul wanted someone that's going to be Oiv Shalom v'Reidiv Shalom. In other words, that's the job of the Kohen Gadol. So the Kohen Gadol's got to be able to look at an impossible case of machlekes and say, I can solve it. And most people will back off from such a thing. If a guy walk over to someone and says to him, do me a favor, ask Yankel to be moichel me. Okay, I'll do that, but what did you do to Yankel? Well, I happened to steal his business, and he's been broke for the last 20 years. It looked like I knew him all the years, but I wanted to be moichel me. How can I ask him to be moichel you? That's the natural reaction you want to be. How can I ask him to be moichel you? You did such a big avlet to him, so you can't be a kohen. You're puzzled being kohen gadol. You can't. You're supposed to be a guy that's able to say, sit down, he wants to be moichel you, you want to be moichel him, and this, that, whatever it is, and work it out, and everybody's happy. And that's what your job is. That's the kohen gadol's job. You can't do it, so you're not the guy. And the fact that you were choshed, that Aaron is going to be jealous of you, that means, first of all, you didn't know who Aaron is, and secondly, that thing that you felt that there's no eights, that he'd be so incensed that it's not, or so angry or so upset that it's not shaykh to even ask him mechila or something like that. So then you're not the man for the job. It's as simple as that. It has nothing to do with anything. So here also, once Aaron I did the egel, so I'm disqualified. The guy who's oived avodah zorah, or he was not oived, or made an avodah zorah, he's disqualified from being kohen gadol. So it's not a kash, you're disqualified. It's not the way we go. Okay. So that wouldn't have been maybe a big problem. But obviously the Benishim picked him. It was the same thing. Moshe Rabbeinu, Benishim picked him. And after he picked him, he kicked him out. I mean, there's Nikikashi, even though ultimately he does serve as Kohen Gadol doing the Shivas and Memaluyim, but he's not the Kohen Gadol Adoros. Just for a short period of time. So anyway, so you see that Einish and forgiveness are two different things. And we see it that sometimes the Einish is the one that forgives. When the guy is Chayiv Misa, right? He's Mechuyiv to Misvad, the Rambam says. Some say Chatosi Visi Peshaiti, say the whole thing, then says Vidui, and the Cholich is Miskapel, and we're still going to kill him. One has nothing to do with the other. In other words, the fact that is the Einish has to happen, and that the Einish maybe is the final kapara that does it. But the Ma'aseh, let's say, if he would not get killed from Bezdin, probably also be miskaped. That doesn't make it, as long as he dies, that would probably be the same thing. That makes a difference. But the idea is that it doesn't part the. So here also, he was Shaklis. So what was he practicing for? What was he hoping for? You know, if he really had this feeling when he started to do the Shemini-HaChodesh, he should have had discussion before. Why you there? He's not going to arrange. He's not giving it to me. So I can't answer that except that a guy has a worry about something, and the first is a week away. Yeah, it'll be okay. Whatever it is, when he gets down to the last day, he's worried and he gives up. So that maybe that's all it meant. I can't know. I have to think more about it. But anyway, that Aaron was frightened. That's what he was afraid of, and he was afraid that he was disqualified. And therefore, and Moshe Rabbeinu comes over to him and says, "Vayikru es vayem Moshe Aaron kravel hamizbeach." So Rashi says, what does he came over to him to say? What's the solution that it's a solution. He was embarrassed, and he was afraid to go over. So Moshe, why are you embarrassed? You were picked for this. So if he was picked for it, Moshe Rabbeinu is the ultimate Navi. I mean, Aharon is also a Navi in this Nikudi, probably would know everything. But the idea is, why are you afraid then? I mean, Moshe is telling you, the Pashtus is that we know that Aharon was originally picked to be Kohen Gadol, because that's what Moshe, what he told Moshe. Aharon Achicha HaLevi, as he says, originally he was supposed to be the Levi, you're supposed to be the Kohen, now you're going to be the Levi, and he's going to be the Kohen. So he was designated to be the Kohen. But that the Maisa, the Egel, happened after that. So the Egel happened after that, so what he calls, it's not going to happen. Now, did the Egel really happen after that? That's the Kasha. That's the king talking there. Because when is he talking about this? When did he tell him he's going to be that? That was in Mitzrayim before the Makis even, that he knew that. But when did he pick him out to be? So that's in Tetzaveh. That's after the Egel already. Or after Matan Teres, at least Chapochus, which would make it, I assume, would be after the Egel. And then the thing goes, so he knows that he's going to be the Egel after the Egel is appointed. So exactly what he means by that, I don't know. But Lamaisa, it wouldn't have been a kasha if that was the case, because you see that he needed special tefillas for it. And that will go as we go along with the thing. But I think what we're doing is we're giving two human qualities to Aharon HaKohen. We're saying that he was embarrassed, right? I'm sure in my mind, that we know the Kerch of Busha. The Kerch of Busha is a terrible Kerch, and the Nemesis, the thing that protects us from doing Averas is the Kerch HaBusha. That we're embarrassed for other people, that we did an Avera, therefore we don't do an Avera. And the thing that we're embarrassed. And you'll say that that's not the only embarrassment. The whole reason we make a Shalom Zocher out of cheap stuff, which is albus and beer, and that's I don't know if it's so cheap, but whatever it is, but that things as opposed to fancy wines and 25-year-old schnapses and stuff like that, which you're not supposed to have, is the reason is because a guy killed his kid when he had a boy in the Middle Ages, and they made a takana that you're not allowed to make a Shalom Zocher from fancy stuff. In fact, the Yoch HaShulchan even says that even then they like to put down anyone has these things coming up, that to knock them down, that they have to knock it down a little bit. But he had that he brings down that Shalom Zocher counts as a Sudas Mitzvah, and he says that by Shalom Zocher, you come to the door, you don't enter the house, you just say Mazel Tov and leave, because the people would too poor to feed you even anything. And by a bris, you're allowed to take a piece of cake. And he says that's all you can take from a bris. Why? Because that's how poor the people were. So therefore, not to make it anything different. So that was only in his town like that. And that I doubt. I don't know. But that's what he says. Okay. So anyway, so Busha we know is a big thing, but I can't believe that if you would tell Aaron that you go through this Busha and you're forgiven. This is the Einish, the Busha. He gladly go through the Busha. I mean, Baruch Hashem, I'm forgiven. What else would a person do? So you gotta kind of the Busha, it's maybe a different type of Busha here, as opposed to just some that Ben Yisrael disqualified me or embarrassed me. You thought you were going to be Kohen Gadol, now we knocked off, you weren't going to be Kohen Gadol. Or maybe that's the same thing then. But maybe, let's say, if I would, like the way the thing plays out, he does get embarrassed. What happens? Moshe is ready, he prepares all the korbanos, right? And vayikra v'samincha v'yimalika b'meh v'yishrat hashor v'zachalovim, everything he paid, everything's on the fire, ready. Vayisa Aaron es yoder v'soam v'yvochem, and he v'yed mechatz ha'chez v'shalomim v'yovi Moshe v'Aaron alei moed. He says, so Rashi says, why did they come into El Moed for? What are they going to El Moed? Because the Shekhinah should have come down then, and the Shekhinah did not come down. That was the fire should have come down then, and it didn't come down. So since it didn't come down, so he knew it's no good. So he told him, "Come with me into the thing." And here's a funny lashon in Rashi, but again, it depends how you read the letter. Shekos HaKadosh Baruch Hu Olai B'shvi Lo Yorda Shechina LiYisrael Omalei LaMoshe. So he said to Moshe, Moshe Ochi, Kach Yosedli, this is what you did to me. You embarrassed me. Shenechnasni v'nisbayashti. You took me in and you embarrassed me. Miyad nichnas Moshe Imo. We went in and helped him pray. And well, you think that? So he's giving Moshe Musa because he took him down. The thing I thought it was for you're in charge. So what's the problem? I mean, I didn't do this on purpose. I didn't want to embarrass you. So I'm saying, depends how you read the letter. What he means to say is, like Moshe, I was right. You see that the Benishim thinks you made an error, and I was embarrassed that whatever it is. So Moshe says, okay, let's see what we can do about this. We go in and they pray, and the Baruch Hashem, the Shlit comes down, and he still lost. Okay, that's fine. This story with the kid. There used to be a story. A kid sends a father a letter, And the father goes over to his wife and he says to the mother, and he says, "Yo, I'm not sending any money." Right, the first thing he says, "Tata shit geld." That's the first thing. All he cares about is money, money, money. I ain't sending him any money. I'm not going to let him worry about himself. So the mother picks up the letter and she says, "No, I think you're reading it wrong. It says it's Tata shit geld." Oh, that no, but I'm going to send him what the shayla. So I mean, it's the same thing, I think, how you read Rashi. That's about all. You know, it's not like a tough Lashon, and they not have been as tough as you think it is. But anyway, but you see that he was embarrassed in the tzis. He was embarrassed. It didn't come down until they had a special tefillah to bring it down. So he would have taken it, but he was embarrassed that this is not just a point of a delay where I'm going to get embarrassed. It's a push of disqualification. I'm not loyal, and therefore we're going to have to wait for whatever we're going to have to do for a new appointment for somebody. There's a whole new arrangement's going to take place here. One time there was in our Gemara, it's a Shub and Prachia. In the Mesechtes Tanas, they bring it down B'Shim Shotach. It doesn't make a difference who it is really, but this, what he states like this. What we'll talk about is Hanover. He says, if they would tell me they're going to make me a Nasi, I would feed them to the lions. If I was Nasi already and they want to kick me out being Nasi, I would throw boiling water on them. So he said, what's the difference? He says over there, I think that lions, put in front of lions is not an immediate punishment. The lions may not be hungry. A lion that's not hungry is not going to eat you, not going to bother, not going to attack you, not going to do anything to you. So therefore, if you leave them alone, says nothing. So therefore, I'm just going to put you there. Okay, if they're hungry, they're hungry. So I'm not that angry at you yet. But hot water is an immediate, it burns you immediately as soon as it hits you, so therefore it's immediate. So what is it trying to tell me? That when you become the Nasi, you become about Gaivenik now? Now, like, I'm the Nasi, you can't take me out being Nasi. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You're talking about the biggest people we have. And the thing this, I said, what it means is this. Another is opposed to covet. In other words, you want to make me Nasi, right? You don't want to make me Nasi, meaning we're looking for Nasi. I know I'm the guy that's the biggest guy here. But I know that. But you don't know that. So if you don't know that, so there's no reason why you should pick me. So if you don't pick me, I can't have really complaint. So what are you complaining about? There's nothing to complain about. They picked somebody they thought was bigger than you, so it was good. So, but once I'm Nasi, and they're kicking me out, and they say, let's put this guy in, that means I'm no good. That's an insult already. That's not a thing there. That's not enough already. Now you're insulting me. Insulting me in the thing here. So when you throw me out, that's an insult. In other words, you're not loyal to be forever. Never a thing there. That's an insult, and that I can't take. In other words, you tell that the chat is I wasn't picked out to be. Okay, fine. I'm not picked out to be. There's other people that are worthy to be it. But I'm not picked out. I'm disqualified. That's a bizarre. That could be the differences over here. Anyway, we'll get to the end. So what happens now? The fire comes down, and it comes down, and what's the mile of this fire? The fire now is able to become to make all korbanos, even the ones that are not that were not with the right kavanas, into reach nechoyach, into actual korbanos. Now it's like this. Normally you have a big problem. If I'm bringing a korban, I don't have the right kavanas, so it's chum bazor. Now chum bazor, now I bring chum bazor. So here it's not pshat, it's not chum bazor. It's a good korban. So if it's a reach nechoyach asher, it's always going to be reich nechoyach, because why? The fire was already put there. Before this happened, the Benishim sent the fire down to show it's accepted. Now I'm bringing the fire first to say that anything you put into this fire will be accepted. That's the point there. And this was by Avram Avinu, he had the shadow of what has to come. In other words, because Noach was the first that made his own fire. And he made a fire that was so good that it was Vayoch Hashem Yisreich HaNechoyach. He brought up a Nechoyach, and the Rebbeinu was forced to smell it. And therefore, when he smelled it, he accepted the truth of the world, or whatever it is, then he made the bris with the world. Or thing like that. And so that was the Keach of Noach. Was able to do. But normally, a person's bringing a korban of thank, whatever it is, even with the rest of Kavonin, you can break through God's anger. That's a big amount, a grace amount. So therefore, the Benjamin had to show. By the Akedah, he was in doubt what to do, because whatever's in Nemson, what's the point of the fire coming from Hashem? To show you that he accepts the korban. But by Yitzchak, he told him to bring him as a korban. So he accepted him as a korban already, before you make a fire. So what do you need a fire for? And stuff like that. So therefore, it's just the point of finishing the work. If I don't need a fireman Hashem, he probably would bring his own fire. Not anything there. And by Bumas, you bring your own fire, whatever it is. I can't answer on all these things. But those are the union of the fire. Okay. And since there is this thing, and there's also a din of Shnei Yisraetzim and stuff, that there's a chiyuv on us to add our own fire to God's fire. In other words, God's fire is one thing, but we also have to put our own, I can't say Vaumkeit, whatever it's our own avodah into the thing. So we have to also be part of that fire and stuff like that. So you have to put Shtei Yisraetzim. As far as the fire itself, that is eternal. That's an eternal fire that's always burning. Okay. So, Nadav Avihu thought that for whatever reason they thought that somehow they have to add themselves too, in the fire, not just in the wood, in the fuel of the fire, but even in the fire, in the making of the fire, right? They had to do this, and they put it in, and they died. This death that they died is a death that the Etzem is for the Egel. Okay, this Rashi brings this down over here in Akev. Let's listen. Ubi-Aaron hisanaf Hashem ha'oid lahashmidoi v'esparo gabat Aaron be'is hahi. So as Rashi says, Lashmidei ze kilu bonim, that means destroying all his kids. V'chein hu oimer v'yashmid pirim alav v'esparo gam bad Aaron v'hoyilo tfilosim. My tefillah helped l'chaper machzer u'meizu shnayim. It helped to forgive for half, and two of his sons died. Okay. Now the question is why these two as opposed to the other two? I mean, maybe only two died. Okay, we'll see as we go along. So Vatisla vayamus l'fnei Hashem vayim Moshe Aaron hu asher diba Hashem leimor b'krovay HaKodesh. That I'm going to get. So I see from here that as Moshe is telling Aaron that Nadav Avihu in a way was greater than us. In other words, the Benjamin wanted to make a Kiddush Hashem. What is the Kiddush Hashem? I mean, getting two guys killed, that doesn't sound like it's a Kiddush Hashem. The Kiddush Hashem is that Hashem shows no favoritism. And if you can be the closest people to God as you are, when the pshat is, if you do something wrong, that's it, it's over. And the reason for it is, like we said many times, that the Benjamin doesn't need anybody. He can do everything himself. He doesn't need anyone to do it. He's just giving us a chance to do things that we should get schar. That's why he gave us all the keches and that we have, is that we should be to do what he wants done in this world, but we should do it. But if we don't do it and he wants it done, it'll be done anyway. It doesn't make a difference. But l'maisa, and the biggest raya to that is the fact that he picked Moshe to be the Mashiach Hashem Mitzrayim, and as soon as he doesn't mal his kid, he's willing to kill him. So therefore he doesn't need Moshe either. So it doesn't make a difference. So what? So all of us, right now I need a Mashiach Hashem. I'm sending you. You can get schar for it. You goof. You're not very guys. I'll get them out. Because I'll take them out myself. I don't need you. What do I need you for? Okay. So so this is another Rabbi. So that's the Kiddush Hashem. That where no one's beyond punishment and so on and so forth. So now, does that mean that we're going to just pick on a guy? That doesn't make any sense either. I mean, Reuven doesn't just pick on a guy. But if there's a misstep that will happen, and it's shaykh to do it, that will show the Kiddush Hashem. Okay. Anyway, he takes them out, and he calls them, and what did he say over there? Vayomer Moshe al Aaron ve'Elazar Yisoma Banov Chasheichem al Tifroimu. You're not allowed to show avelos. So doesn't say any extra word over here of Banov Anisorim. That doesn't use the word Nisorim here. Just about to Aaron and to Elazar Yisoma, right? Banov. Right afterwards. When he starts the parsha of them not eating this chatos, so he calls them Bonav HaNisorim already, the leftover sons. That means you should have died in the same thing. So what? And before I shouldn't have died, now you tell me I should have died. So the shaila is this: why would they not have Avihu picked as opposed to Elazar Yisoma? And it's interesting. I don't know exactly the orders. It says Tachtehem somewhere. Where does it say that? Somewhere it says, I don't remember where, that Vayom is not Avihu and Elazar Yisoma took their places. What places they take? They're all Kehanim. And it's a mashma that either it's Gana Kohen and the one that the chief of the Levium, whatever they are that Elazar Yisoma is spelled out by, maybe not the Vayu had that, because they were the older ones, and then when they died, the others took it over. So they were something, they are special, that means, in that sense. Even at this time. Because Nadav was the Bechar, is the thing. Okay, so that's why he calls us. So what's the time of the nishmat? We know that Nadav Avihu did an aveira. What was the aveira? In other words, if they had a doubt of what to do, they should have still asked Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the one that's giving the Torah, he's giving the orders, telling them the whole Seder Dvarim. Why do you pick on yourself to do something by yourself? But Moshe Rabbeinu is standing right over there. Just walk over there and ask him, should we do this or that? And the thing is, so you did it yourself. But no one's around, okay, what do? You have to make a choice. But if someone's there, why are you making this choice? So this mum, at one time it was the mum of Yidden and Mitzrayim. It wasn't just what he called. What was the mum? Mitzrayim, they were the Memtes Shari Tumah. That's what you all learn about Memtes Shari Tumah. What Memtes Shari Tumah were they in? Were they murderers? No, Chas v'Chalil. So there's only 48. So why do you think 49? And if they were in Znus, they did. No, Chas v'Chalil. Okay, so it's 47. We'll keep going down. We probably do a lot of them. We get down some more. So why you say Memtes? Because even the ones that you handled, you didn't handle the way the Messiah said it. And the Rashi points this out in by the Ben Shmitzri, which is the son of Shlemis Bas Divri, is his son, and she's married to Reuven. She's married to Dosan, and she has the kid from the Mitzri that wanted to kill Dosan, and stuff over there, and so it says he uses the lotion. There was no Zaina in Klal Yisrael except one. She wasn't a Zaina. What happened was the guy pretended to be Dosan, came at night, and then in a place where there's no street lights, there's no what he calls it, there's no light, it's dark. So you can't see who's there. So you don't know who's there. So the point is, and she lived with her husband. That's what she thought. So why are you calling her a Zaina? So I think the thing is how you handle the situation. And just imagining this, I have no rayas to what I'm saying, but the thing that, in other words, if a pretty girl passes a hot place, so what do they do? As far as the expressions, people, they start whistling, they start cursing, they start saying lewd expressions, stuff like that. And then nibble pair, right? It's very embarrassing probably for the girl to go by. And she has to pass this place. These Mitzrayim are there. So she comes on to the thing to think to herself, it's very embarrassing. I can't go past these guys. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to become their friends. Maybe they won't insult me like that. They won't do that. So she goes out and she says, hey, everybody guys want coffee? Whatever it is, boys, whatever it is there, it does and serves them, fine. And the Mitzri is standing and he says, why is she doing this? Normally she should be insulted and go away. She says, you must be like what we're doing. So therefore she takes it as come on, that she's inviting him to come, and therefore now I have a husband to get rid of, so I got to get rid of the husband, and then I'll come there for it. And that was the mice. Okay, so the thing, so she caused her own problems. Now, she caused her own problems because she wanted to stop the bullshit or the embarrassment that she's having from this. But she didn't figure out a way of I don't know if there is any Masorah on how to handle such a case. But Lamaisa, there's an Indian that I should ask the rabbi, what do I do with these guys? These guys are teasing me. How can I get out of them bothering me and stuff like that? And I didn't do that. I handled it my own way. And that's what happened in the whole Midbar. The Midbar lost the Masorah. So we all knew basic laws. How to handle the laws we didn't know. And therefore each one took on themselves to handle different ways. And Eretz Yisrael, is it an option or is it what? In other words, the Rebbeinu wants to make us free. What's wrong with the United States? What's wrong with Mitzrayim? It's a nice country. The only problem was we're Avadim. If we're not Avadim anymore, it's a terrific place. Why should we want to leave? The United States is a terrific place. What do I want to go to Eretz Yisrael for? In fact, I don't particularly like the housing construction over there. And I think that whatever it is there, the thing that all of us, the Torah says, that's where I want you to go, that's what I want you to do, that's what I want you to think. So it's not an option to you, right? And that's the problem that we did in all the Memtes Dvarim. We handled them all as it's up to us how to take care of it. Therefore, the Memtes Sharituma. That's the point. And therefore, there's the thing that, so they also were in this. And this is, what did they do? They were or they bade Zora, or they were very respectful. What was the advice? This is the Medrash says a case that they were following Moshe and Aaron. And they were saying, when are they dying and we're taking over? They're holding up how we can make America great again. I mean, it's their problem, and stuff like that. And it's all of these things that it's that they said they died for their own averas. So what do you hakim you're China? They died because of Aram. They died because of themselves. The Torah is telling us a big yesod. So then, if a guy takes off a mezuzah, he's not supposed to. Let's say he's renting from a yid, and he's moving. So he takes his mezuzahs off. He's loyal for his wife and children to die. What are you talking about? Wife and children to die? The biggest murderer in Klal Yisrael doesn't get that. But his wife and children die. You kill him. What do you want with his wife and children? Think that? No. What it means is they're not dying because of him. They have to die because of their own avera. But the pain that he would feel from the loss of a wife and children is because he off the mezuzah. But let's say they don't deserve to die, they won't die. So in this case, Aaron deserved to lose two of his kids, but they didn't do anything wrong. So they can't die. Not going to do anything about it. They're big people already, not ketanim, they're gedolim. Okay, so all of us, you didn't have error that you should die. But what happens? You have a father's tzaddik that deserves no aggravation. He can't die either. That's the Beniman is so fear in the union of Einshim that everyone who suffers because he deserves that amount of Einish and the stuff. If he wouldn't deserve it, then the other guy couldn't get his Einish. And that's the point there. So you need both factors are necessary here. So you have this point here. It's also pointed out in the Haftarah. The Haftarah is not the one that we're going to read this week. This week is because Parshas HaChodesh. But the normal Haftarah, the Shemini, is the Ma'is with Uzzah. That David HaMelech is moving the Ahren to Yerushalayim, and they puts on this brand new wagon, and the Hishmit Habasa, the Boker Menach, and the oxen tripped or whatever, they slipped. And the thing shuddered, like it looked like it's going to fall, the Ahren, and Uzzah put out his hand to grab the Ahren from falling, and he dies. Now, that's a natural reaction. What do you want for the poor guy? He didn't do anything wrong. He was trying to save the Ahren. You don't save the Ahren. The Ahren, you're supposed to say, this is the point, that if you're living among Kedusha, it's supposed to become so part of you that there's no natural reactions. You know that the Ahren is nice of, and therefore there's nothing for you to touch. So therefore, if you saw it falling, it ain't gonna fall, it doesn't make a difference. So I don't have to do anything about it. You touched it, you thought that it didn't have that Kedusha, whatever it is, it was in, and you touched the Ahren, which is defiling the Kedusha by touching what you're not allowed to touch. So therefore you died. Why did that happen, the Smaisa? Why did Shamta the bucket don't make him a slip by himself? The Benshim made them skip. So why did he do that? Because David said Zmiris, something about the Torah. He describes the Torah as Zmiris, and he tells him that you're calling the Torah Zmiris, but when it's something that you forget, that you turn yourself away from it, you forget it right away. So it's not a song. It's a very serious subject. For that comes your Neinish. You'll make a mistake in something that even the youngest kids know. What do the kids know? Because of you so that you carry the Ahren and this, and you decide the reason that they had to carry the Ahren is because they only gave 6 wagons, and they needed all 6 wagons for carrying the koshem and the other stuff there. So therefore, Memela, you had to carry it by hand. But if we have a beautiful wagon, I'm sure it wasn't a buckboard wagon. I'm sure it was something with a coach and the whole thing, and the melodic engravings on it and stuff like that for the cover of the Ahren that's going to be in there. But it's supposed to be, of course, if you saw. So you made the mistake, so you deserve the Einish. What's the Einish? Uzzah's going to die. But Uzzah can't die unless he does an Avera. What's the Avera? He's going to touch the Ahren. And that's the thing over there. And that's the way it is. A person, you can't, invention doesn't kill someone for someone else's Avera. That's the main thing. Okay. Now just get into union of biology. You have over here, this is on the first, what is the Arnevis? That's the kasha. I see also what a shofan is, but a nevis. It's either, they tied it off, it's a hare, big rabbit, it's a hare, H-A-R-E. It's a rabbit. A rabbit somehow don't fit here. This is Guy Schlifkin. He was a guy that wrote a biology book. He was an Orthodox scientist. I don't know if he's alive or not anymore. But anyway, he wrote a book which they put in Cherem, but they had haskamas from other yeshivas around there and thing there. That what was it that he wrote? That it says there's only 4 minim that chew that 3 chew the cud and don't have split hoofs. There are hundreds of them. So it's not true. The whole thing's not true. So kvira, exactly what's kvira? What are you talking about? Is it true? Isn't it true? But that's what he claimed. Okay. This first entered my mind. It's not for me. It was, I don't remember his name. It was my daughter's high school principal in the East Side, the Beis Yankov. And he claimed that there's been a thing that what does he touch up the shofar and Anevis and Gomel as a camel, and not a camel, a dromedary, a Bactrian, and a llama. Okay. Now a camel is is dromedary and a Bactrian. The 2 types of camels. What makes you 2 types of camels? Because they have a funny looking face. I mean, that makes it the same thing. One has 1 hump, one has 2 humps. One lives in the hot countries, and one lives in cold countries. The back desert, which is cold, and the dromedary is in the hot desert, which is in Africa, and this is Sahara and stuff like that. So what's it? They're 2 different, and the llama is completely another thing there, and it's going up. Now, to explain what a cliff's split hoof is, some as I understand it. When I took my kids to the petting zoo, and they had llamas and goats walking around, and I'm looking at it, and they had split hoofs. The llama has a split hoof. Mine looks like this. Mine straight through. You can see straight through the foot. So I pick up the foot, everything there, and I'm a nut. I don't know. I'm looking at the foot of the goat and the foot of the llama, and the llama does a little piece that touches the foot, and that's not split. And on the goat, that little piece that touches the foot is split too. That the whole thing, the front part is completely split, and the front part sticks out like a long thing, and that's split completely. But the little pieces under the foot, that little bit is not split by the llama. Okay, so it looks split. My father told me that in the First World War, the Russian army was very, thing that they still used camels for transportation. So they came to Luban and no one ever saw a camel before, so they came to tell them that there's another kosher animal that they found that has a split hoofs and anything over there. But if you look at a camel has a pad underneath the foot, so that's not split. So that doesn't go straight through. The llama goes straight through. Okay, that was nice. Okay. And those are the 3 minimum. And the Torah then is so great that the Torah tells you there are only 4 animals that are in this klal that has only 1 siman. But the guy tells me there's hundreds, right? And those are not animals that we're talking about. Those are animals that have paws. That's the hair, right? He chooses cud. You're right. He's a little animal, but he doesn't have hoofs. So where do I see my stuff? Okay. So this is where I came into the thing, because it's Schwierigkeiten. You know, why didn't the Torah say, like normal, by the fish? Kol sheyesh lo snap of kaskeses by mayim bayam. Listen, that's kosher. There's many animals that have fins, no stuff, or what do you call this? Kaskeses without fins. Like, why don't you enumerate them? Because I told you that they has to have two things. It don't have two things. It's not kosher. So you told me it has to have split hoofs and it has to have, and it has to chew his cud. So why do you have to tell me who the animals are? Manaf geminit, right? So the question is, how do you say split hoofs in Hebrew? Okay, that's the question. So Rashi seems to say that it means the same thing. Palsa, whatever it is, take a look in the Ibn Ezra, there are two things. And if you take a look at the Pasuk, the way it says it, it's like two things. Kol mafreses palsa v'shisha sesa process. Mafreses palsas that have hoofs. Shisha sesa process, these hoofs are split. And then malegero, there's no vav there. Now, the vav, if you would have had a vav, you would have to have both. Or from here you can see it's either one or the other. Or vav could also be or in vav. So therefore it's not clear anymore. Once they had to put in the part to say split hoofs, that has to say it has to be a hoofed animal before we start. And then it has to have split hoofs before we go to those. If it's not a hoofed animal, which you have later, they're treif automatically. They don't have no shots on them. So poor animals are no shayla that they're treif. If that's the case, you know. So really that's a treif for pshat. This with the part I said there's the three. The only one, and you don't know of any other one. They're trying to figure out how'd you come out a camel? You say that's on a camel. Right, you only have two minutes, no? Now there was about in the 50s, the 60s, I don't remember. I don't even remember the name of the animal. But they discovered in Malaysia a big animal that had split hoofs and it didn't chew its cud. So you have another one. And the classification scientifically put it down as a pig, as a min of a pig. Now, not all pigs look the same. You know, I mean, there's like all cows don't look the same. Whatever. So, but they're still called cows. So the same thing over there is not. So that's why it was onto that kasha. But it was a kasha that what's going on here? They never min. He just said the Vanishlum made that. He knows cloth, there's only 4 minimum in the world, so what are you talking about? So they came out that it was scientifically. It came out that we said it. They'll say, who says you know what you're talking about? I'm saying. So they said it before we said it. So that's, I think, is the pshat over here. Just one thing which is negaya to the beginning of Timtum Alev. Okay, the Shiva has a psak that it's not the min you're eating, it's the isa that you're doing that makes Timtum Alev. So let's say if I have a kosher hechsher on a treifa chicken, there's an eid echad that's kosher, and he says that this chicken is kosher, and I eat it because he told me it's kosher, and it turns out it was treif, I have no timtum alev. They don't know for sure. The only one that's a little bit of, that's maybe, that says it, it's not so kosher that he's saying it too, this is the, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Okay. He's a Meshach Chochma, but not so kosher.
A hechsher on a product is like it's an eid echad? That's
Why are you eating it? And that's the Eid Echad. He's saying, I guarantee it's kosher. How do you guarantee? I got an Eid Echad that I put on there. That's telling me, it's to tell you that it's kosher. It's an Eid Echad. Yeah. So, that's a kosher. So, we had these meisim, unfortunately. You have guys that are cooks. And there's a lot of profit to be made. So obviously you're going to have meisim. Okay. Was the guy who ate it, does he need tshuva? Does he need anything? Does he have to do anything about Timtum Alev? So Shiva said no. Now there's no farisha place that he says it. So the first sons of Rav, what was his name? Chaim, the son, yeah. He's supposed to be the one that says it. Said it, but the expression that I heard used is he saw a kid that was a wilder kid. He said that kid probably had milk from a shiksa, whatever it is. Okay. Yeah. But the kid definitely didn't have any carbonis and stuff like that. Oh, it means that, or that's something different. I can't answer you. The Meshech Chochma, whatever, the Rashiva says this psak. That it's totally, if you have a hersher, there's no timtum alev. The Yisrael is there. And if you want, what do you call it? The riff on the Yankiv, that's in Yume, that's where the Gemara was with Mason Bomb, says exactly the same thing. It's the Yisrael that does it. He does it from Digduk. I don't know no Digduk, so you'll take a look yourself over there at the end of the fifth page in Yume, that about the Mason Bomb, and he's telling you that the Mason Bomb by the Digduk shouldn't be right, so it goes on the chet, not on the treif adam. So he said that. Okay. So exactly who says the other way? It's the only one the Meshech Chochma seems to say it, but he doesn't say it, chas v'chilul, we have an Eid Echad or anything. That he doesn't say that halacha. That's what I'm saying. But Rabbi Green asked Rashiva this thing. He says it on the Pasuk in Meschanan, that it says over there that Batim Amaisa Kol Tuva Shalom Yileisim. In other words, that when they came into Eretz Yisrael, they were able to eat anything that was in the houses of the Mitzrayim, even the Chazal. This doesn't matter who was eating, able to eat those 7 years, 14 years that they were in there. Of the kibush and the thing, they were able to eat the chazal that they had. So he says, what's his pasuk? Let's see if we find the pasuk. Batim leim kol tuva shalem eleisa, ubayim chazuv shalem chatzavta, klam v'zeis shalem tata. He shama lecha pentishkach as Hashem lekecha. Hashem asher asitzich. Yes, the kashi. Why does it say shama lecha right after telling you this thing? Right? It must be caused into Halev. So there's a difference between a hersher that's saying this is kosher to a hersher saying you're allowed to eat chaza now. It's a big difference. You know, one is chaza, but I'm telling you you're allowed to eat it. But afal pikein, but so when Rabbi Green asked Rashiva that thing, says Rashiva looked at it, and he said, no, I can krieg on the Meshech Chochma. So when he told it to me, I said, I can't krieg on Meshech Chochma. So I said, I have to have a kasha on Meshech Chochma. I can't krieg on him. So in Eikev, you have the same pasuk, the same idea, and it says there, and there's the pasuk is because you shouldn't be Bal Gaivanik. It says here, Yishom alecha pentishkach Hashem lekech l'gut lishmor mitzvos mishpot v'keiz v'shanech mitzav chayim pentech v'sovaita v'botim tevim tivne v'yoshovta, and therefore there, and that's what it doesn't say anything about Timtum Alev over there. There's nothing to do with him. There's no stomach, no things that Elevos. when you get bracha to such a degree that you don't know where it's coming from, all of a sudden you forget it's keichivitzim yodi yasuli sachar. So here I gave you all this thing that you have, and all of a sudden you may forget that I'm the Vanisham running of the show. So that's why I told it. It has nothing to do with Timtum Alev. Okay, the halacha he says over there that in the hospital and stuff like that. I don't remember what it says over there. That the gabe a chayla that eats talfis is maybe that they have to that could be because they are eating treifis, but they're allowed to eat talfis. That could be mitamtim alev. Now the question is, what does timtum alev do to you? Right? So it says over there also, what does it do there? They swear in the name of God. Well, I've lost the place already, but let's make us remember it. Yeah, it says here. Shomelecha Pentechu V'Rama Vav Cheshachtes Hashem HaKecha and he says over there, what should you do? Bishmi Shishaveyu, this thing, now if you do that, constantly have God in front of you, Timtum Alev ain't going to affect you. That's what the point is. So you have, with that, maybe it's before Taken Eschan. Let's see, writing in his Mokim, where he's bringing the Raya from. 1 second. So right when he tells you, so how do I perfect myself first? How do I cure Timtum Alev? So just remember, there's a God. So there's no more Timtum Alev. So it's so easy to cure. So what's this tomorrow cup that you worry me about this? It's nothing. But we say, no, it is something. I mean, it's when you have Timtum Alev, it's very easy to get you the wrong way, to think the wrong way. That's the whole point. It stops up the heart, the talfis and stuff like that you don't hear. The goyim, they don't hear. It's not the pshat that they don't hear what's wrong. And that's the problem. It's not that you can have what we call well-meaning, baloney, well-meaning heintnis mogana, but l'maisa, you can't put about the bun in this whole business. The geneva, the whole concept is because is Robin a good guy, a bad guy? What do you call it? How do you have a shaila? All of us, what's wrong with it? These guys have it, these guys don't have it. It's not fair that they have and they don't have it. So we take it from them. Push it, it's called ownership. I own it. It's mine. What do you mean it's yours? Who says you own it? That's what I'm saying. The whole concept is they don't hear. That's Timtum Alev. They can't hear the embassy. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.